What's going on YouTube? What's happening Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook? What's going on, my good people? Listen, it's your boy Alfie is here with Increase, and I just want to talk to you guys for a few minutes. I know we're kind of behind on time, but I appreciate you guys for hanging and giving me that space and opportunity to make mistakes and all of that. But I just want to talk to you guys quickly and briefly, about something that's really been on my mind. In today's society, we live in a time where everyone is asking for loyalty and we're looking at just, being even consistent, right? Like a lot of people ask for being people to be consistent. But here's the thing that's so weird and so funny is that many don't even talk about how to be it, how to achieve it, how to really just make it happen, right? Like people talk it, people say it. It's become like a buzzword. It truly has become a buzzword. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of game on today on how to become consistent. So I'm going to go over three things that you can do to be consistent and I'm out of your way. It's Monday. You're at work, you're just trying to get in a quick little word while you get a little quick bite to eat, and so I'm not going to hold you long. I'm not going to talk to you long. But one of the things that you need to do to be consistent is to create habits that motivate you and drive your discipline. I'm going to say that again. Create a habit that motivate you and drives your discipline. So what I mean by that is every day you're created a habit, you create a thing that you do every day consistently, like make your bed every day. When you get up, you thank the good Lord, for you being here. You thank the good Lord for life, health, and strength, and you make your bed. And just in doing that consistently every single day, it becomes a part of who you are. And so much so that now you're programming your mind that I can achieve a goal that's so small that look, I even made my bed up. And here's it's nothing to post on social media about like, hey, guess what? I made my bed. But it's really retraining your mind that you're not a failure, that you are a person who can see a project through no matter how small it is. So you gotta begin to train yourself to not look at your failures, but to truly begin to say and begin to look at yourself and go, the same way I train myself to beat myself up over things that I've not been able to do, I'm going to train myself so that I can be consistent or that I can show a pattern or repetition of doing something over and over again, no matter how mundane it is, that I can do it and do it well. The next thing you want to do is you want to set an environment for you to succeed. Set an environment for you to succeed. That's the second thing you want to do. So you set up healthy habits. Now you're working on your environment. So that means you need to declutter. That means you now need to go through your house, your apartment, your room, wherever you are, and begin to take out things that does not serve a purpose. You may not have worn it in years. You may not have used this stuff in years, months, or whatever. But stop harboring and holding on to things that is not serving a right now purpose. There are a lot of things that we hold on to for sentimental value, and depending on what it is, keep those mementos. They may be something from a loved one, a parent, or whatever who has passed on. You want to, put those type of things in a certain place to remember them by. But there are other items that we have accumulated over the time and the span of our life that we really need to get rid of. There's no reason for you to keep it. It reminds you of an old relationship or a time when you overcame something. Listen, take a picture of it, move on, get rid of it, sell it, throw it away, whatever you need to do. But then also, you need to, in setting that environment, now it's time for you to work on your vision board. What is it that I want to do? not only what I want to do, but now let me write some goals up under it so that I can achieve those things. And yes, put a date on it, put an unrealistic date on it. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Because when you put an unrealistic date on it, it's going to push you to fulfill the task. Because when you put something and it go and you put it, let's say for instance, you want to buy a car and the current job that you're working on, you could possibly do it, but you're going to need to save. So you put it at 8 months. 8 months from today, I'm going to purchase a new car. Now, that's going to require you to now begin to go, what do I need to cut out of my life? Or what side hustle do I need to start so that I can make this happen? Because I only got 8 months. And you really start putting yourself in the mindset of, I gotta move, I gotta make something happen. I gotta, you gotta make it shake. You gotta begin to drive yourself toward your goals, toward your dreams. And so you're gonna always have your friends and people who and relatives who will go, well, listen, hey, we're gonna go on this trip, or this clothing store or whatever has a sale. No, I can't do it. Not right now. I'm trying to buy a car in 8 months. I don't have time to play. I don't have time to vacation. I don't have time to go out. I got to make this happen because I set myself on this particular schedule. Now, you may get to 8 months and you may not have everything that all of the money that you want or need, but at least you put such a fire inside of you that when you look back, you go, I really didn't miss much. To be honest with you, you really don't. Because when you look at life, right, and you look at the places and the trips that people go on, yes, it would have been great and fun. But while you're there, you're always thinking about the bills you didn't pay, or the bills that you need to pay, or things that might pop up. Really writing down, and that's why the vision board is so important, because up under it, you're writing those goals so that you can achieve it. But you're also saying to yourself that I'm worth it. Like today, this is Monday. Do you feel like you're worthy and that you're worth everything that God has put inside of you to do? Do you feel like your family is worthy to receive all of the things that they need? Or are you just going to continue to procrastinate? Or are you going to continue to be inconsistent, hit and miss? You're going to be that person who's seldom seen but still not doing anything. Those are the type of things that we really need to focus in on and hone in on. It's not always that people don't want to support you, but people want to support something that is moving. People like supporting things and people that has a direction and has a goal. It's not good that I'm heading in this direction. What is the final destination for you getting there? And so you'll find that money flows to those places, ideas flows to those kind of people, because they are laser focused. And so they have set an environment so that they can remain consistent. In setting up that environment, that sometimes means you need to get off social media unless that's a part of your business, right? You got to set that environment wherein I need no distractions, but I also don't need the negativity. I don't need the distractions. I don't need the negativity, because the distraction is, oh well, I put this off until tomorrow, or I do this next day, or I still have time. You're always saying I still have time, right? That's the distraction, the negativity. You're never going to do it. How are you going to do it when you've never done it before? How are you going to do this and you have no one supporting you or backing you, or you're taking up all of this time? So you want to make sure, right? You want to make sure that your environment is chock full of people who are supportive, who are going to keep you in line and keep you focused. That's a part of your environment. Also, what's a part of your environment is eating properly. I learned this when I was in massage therapy, and I recommend this to a lot of my clients, is that keep a food journal, get a notebook, go to the store, buy a notebook, right on that Monday, and what did you eat for breakfast, right? But right, how did you feel before you ate breakfast? How did you feel when you ate breakfast? How did you feel after you ate breakfast? And do the same thing for lunch and do the same thing for dinner. And if you have a snack, do the same thing for snack. And begin to chart your emotions. And you'll begin to find that a lot of the food that you eat either brings you to a place of sadness, it brings you to a place of joy, or it does nothing for you. And so you want to eat foods that give you energy, that keep you focused. You want to begin to eat things and do things that is progressive toward your goal. So you may say, well, I'm, pretty fit person or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you need to eat junk food all the time. Because when you're working, you want to snack as you go. But when you're snacking as you go, you're not getting the proper nutrients. So you're getting that sugar rush and then you crash. Sugar rush, crash. Sugar rush, crash. And so you got to make sure that everything that you're eating, things that you're doing, and that you're putting inside of your body is something that is bringing nutrients, that's bringing energy, that's bringing life to yourself. Increase your water intake. You're saying, well, man, how, dude, what does that have to do with me being consistent? What if you can't be consistent to your own self in creating the environment that is needed for you to be successful? Because when you're dehydrated, when you're lack of sleep, when you're not eating properly, when you're not getting proper rest, all of that stuff plays on your consistency because it begins to weigh you down, not only physically, but mentally. It begins to bring you down spiritually. There's nothing like when you're so lethargic because you haven't slept right and you've been eating heavy because you're eating heavy before you go to bed and you're eating heavy, during lunch. All of that stuff is weighing you down and it's slowing down your metabolism. So you don't have the energy to do what it is that you want to do and that you need to do. You have those quick bursts of energy because your environment is not so much as it's toxic, but your environment is not conducive to where you're going. So it's no wonder that you are inconsistent because your environment is not consistent for you to be successful. So as you're setting up your environment for you to be successful, is not just, oh, I'm going to write this vision board out, or it's not just, oh yeah, I'm going to set my goals and I'm going to link up and network with people. You got to take care of your body, your temple. You got to make sure that all of that is good. All of that is consistent and is in tandem with your environment. Sometimes we listen to music that reminds us of loved ones that have passed on, or past relationships, or just times where you felt like you were more happier. And because of that, it puts you in like a funk, puts you kind of like in a mood that you really don't want to be around people. And so instead of you having that energy, that life, that vitality to move and do what you need to do, you start slowing down and you're not as laser focused. So now your attention to detail isn't like it should be because your environment begin to weigh you down. It begins to literally stagnate and choke you out. The final thing, the final thing that you want to do to stay consistent, to remain consistent, is you want to have a winner's mentality. And what that means is that you know that challenges are going to come. You know that things are not going to always go the way you plan them, but that does not take away from you being a winner. Sometimes we get so depressed and so sad and so frustrated when, as you're working out your plan and your and all that you want to do in life, and you start coming up against roadblocks and things begin to happen, and you find yourself getting so flustered that instead of you being consistent, right, you find yourself just going, man, I'll take a break. And then hour break turns to a whole day, and a whole day turns to 3 days, and 3 days turn to a week. A week turns to 3 weeks. 3 weeks goes to a couple of months. And before long, you find yourself not having done anything because that one situation threw you off mentally, right? It's not always the physical stuff. It really is the mind. When you come up against things that just really knock you off guard or knock you off your square, you really gotta kind of take a moment, get yourself together, but you truly need to begin to go, okay, that happened. How can I solve it? How can I write it out? And that's some of the things that I'm learning to do, even for myself, and putting it more and more into practice as I begin to see more and more success. The more you begin to write it out, okay, this is the problem that hit me. Okay, how can I solve it? What are some ways for me to solve it? What are some ways for me to take care of this business? What things that I can do? I can do, not stuff you can't do. Not pointing a finger at anybody, but what are some of the things that I can do to make this change happen so that I can get back to where I need to go? Because the longer you spend beating yourself up, being sad, all of that, you're wasting time and it's causing you not to be consistent. My father, not a carpenter by trade, but very much so skilled in carpentry. I would watch him, use a hammer and nail, and he would do it in such a rhythm that even if he hit in a spot that he didn't want to hit, it didn't throw his rhythm off. He just went back at it. But here's the thing that I want to share with you, right? And that is, it wasn't how hard he hit, it was the consistency, it was the repetition in him hitting. Because even if he missed the nail, he kept going because he knew he was going to hit it eventually. And so a lot of times in our mind, we get thrown off when things don't go the way that we want to, and we hit something that may seem like it destroyed the plan, may have destroyed the project. But here's the thing. If you have a winner's mentality, you're like, I already know I'm going to recoup from this. I don't know how, but I know I am, because that's just who I am. Like I can't lose. Even when people say I've lost, I still won because I learned more about myself and more what not to do than anything. You got to get that winner's mentality that even if I show up late to the race, I still haven't lost. There's still opportunity for me to gain back the space that has already happened and lapsed. You got to get in the mindset where come hell or high water, you're gonna make it. Listen, it may not work out right now. It may not work out in the next plan, but it's gonna work out. I may not have the education that I want and need right now, but I'm gonna get it. Everything that I need is already here. You got to start talking positive and speaking positive outwardly. Talking positive about yourself, talking positive about the plan, about the dream, about all of it. Because at the end of the day, when you're done with it, when it's all said and done, guess what? That is going to be the one thing that you're going to have over anybody else. And that is going to be the one thing that you're going to be able to go back on and say, yo, I did it. I didn't know how it was going to be done, but I not only did it, but I'm winning, and I'm winning big. And that's what I want to encourage you today on this podcast. Today, I want you to know that you can be consistent and remain consistent. You may not be consistent yesterday, but that doesn't mean that you cannot be consistent today. Like that is the one thing about life, is that you have every moment, every second that you have breath in your body, that you can be whatever it is, that you can achieve that goal. And it may take you some time, and it's going to take you practice, but you can do it. It's in you to be consistent. It's in you to be a winner, but you got to set yourself up for it. And if you're always looking for someone else to help you in everything that you do, then you're going to always find yourself having not accomplished anything. Until it starts to work in you, you're going to miss it each and every time. I just want to light a fire in you and give you some game that is not as complicated as you think. And that though it can get complicated, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to start, it doesn't have to remain. You got to start somewhere. Why not start right now? You may not have everything that you want right now, but you can get it eventually. Give yourself time, give yourself the space, but set yourself up to win. So I want to thank you guys for your day. Have an amazing week. I know that we just commemorated September the 11th and what took place, but even notice, even in that, that as a country and as a people, we had to continue to plow forward. We had to look at what took place and say that we're not going to allow that to stop us. And so, with taking note and taking, notice of that, apply that to your life, apply that to the plan that you have, apply that to, your relationships and all of that, and say, you know what, it's worth it. I'm going for it. Go all the way. You would rather live a life of trial and error than to live a life full of regret. You guys have an amazing week again, and thank you guys for your time.